Hello, everybody. We are the geeks and the degenerates. I am Enzo. This is my forever co-host, Jom. Today, to wrap up our Western week, we talk about Logan, the neo-Western, as they call it. And this is the best examples of that. There's this, and then there's No Country for Old Men. Maybe we'll do that another time. But yeah, since we are the geeks, this is in our name, we might as well do something comic book related. And this is one of the best comic book movies of the last, what, 5 years? Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And since X-Men hasn't really had a really good, track record, sometimes it's a hit or a miss, Like
Yeah.
the first few X-Men movies were pretty good, and then there were some shitty ones, and then we kind of got like an okay one with like First Class, and then we get this fucking gem that probably isn't related to any
Yeah.
of the X-Men. We don't know.
I
It
mean-
could be a separate fucking universe, or it could be the same universe.
I think this follows the First Class timeline. Because Days
Really?
of Future Past rebooted the whole thing. So this follows in continuity, which is tragic to know that this universe ends so depressingly bad. But in terms of movie franchises, for being honest, Wolverine has had the worst entry he can have and has had the best ending any trilogy can have.
Is that the worst entry? I don't think so. Actually, well, because his is memorable. Like it's very memorable.
Origins?
Oh fuck! Right.
Yeah.
Right. Look, the first 5 minutes was good.
Yeah.
Like, no, seeing him go through every fucking war, I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of cool. And then you
Uh,
see Deadpool, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. And then there's the Wolverine, which is alright in my opinion. And then there's this.
Yeah. But I say they tried with Wolverine.
Hmm.
Like, they really did. And I liked it for that. Like, it felt like its own good standalone movie.
Yeah.
If that was a good, like, first movie, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
But yeah. This one is directed once again by James Mangold, who did do the Wolverine. And before we get started with the plot, what was your first thoughts on the trailer?
Well, when we heard, it wasn't the trailer that got me excited, it was the rating. Rating, what do you call it? The age thingy.
Yeah, rating.
The rating. Yeah, like, it's R rated.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what? Wolverine R-rated? What does that mean? Because we always see Wolverine, like, stab a dude and then takes it out and nothing really happens. You're like, he's dead, I guess.
Yeah.
You know? But now, so we saw the trailer and we're like, oh shit. And then we have, like, little X-20, what her name is, X-23, and then you see people getting decimated in the fucking trailer, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
and yes, we all have said this exact same fucking thing. It is X-Men, but yeah, it's Last of Us, but X-Men.
Yeah.
Because yeah, he has this little girl who's not really much of an escort mission because she's useful and very but yeah, I was just hella excited for this. It wasn't the concept of like, oh, it's like Last of Us, but X-Men. It was like, oh shit, this superhero movie is being taken seriously, and just doesn't sound like I swear to God, if you took out the whole X-Men name, X-Men never existed or anything like that, and you put this movie out there, just like all these superhero people,
Yeah.
and they're just trying to get the hell out because the world's trying to take them out. And that, I would say that's a good standalone fucking movie.
Yeah. I was very excited because Wolverine is like my first or second favorite Marvel character, depending on the time of day you ask me. So I was very excited, and like it was like Hugh Jackman's last movie, like supposedly until this year with Deadpool 3. But
Yeah.
to be fair, he did keep his word for like 7 years. So I'm like, at least.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of, I would say, like, convincing from Ryan Reynolds because of how funny it would be. And I would say it would be fun
Yeah.
to see both of them in one screen.
And yeah, the theme and the R rating, I was like, I'm in. I'm definitely in to see finally R-rated Wolverine. And just the beginning of this movie, you're like, how R-rated can this be? And you see Wolverine dispatch the gang Like you see Wolverine, like his claws.
Right, like they're trying to steal his like limo,
Yeah,
and these guys just get absolutely fucked. I was like,
yeah,
that guy doesn't have an arm anymore. That was the thing that we wanted to see.
yeah. You see one of his claws not come out the right way too. You're like, what the fuck is happening to Logan?
Right, right. It comes out a bit weird. You're like,
Yeah. But you see, like, as you mentioned, no legs, no arms, heads being stabbed through with like his adamantium knives, his claws. You're like, Jesus fucking Christ! Why didn't they do this sooner? Why didn't they do this ever sooner? And then it sets the theme, and you see Wolverine is this, I don't know, driver for hire, just literally escorting people to their destination, whether they be rich, young, no matter. And then he bumps into, or Gabriella finds him, and she asks Logan for help, but Logan's like, I'm not in that business anymore. Get the fuck away from me. And you see, after she contacts him, like, Donald, who's Boyd Holbrook's character, is like, oh, it's a Wolverine, that's a live and breed. You're not the man I thought you would be, but I need you to stay away from this. And he's like, fuck. Why does this keep happening to me after all this time?
yeah.
And
Yeah, go on.
no, I was about to say, he's taking care of Professor X, and it's pretty painful to see trials like this.
I was about to get into it because like, yes, as we said, like, Wolverine's claws doesn't come out the right way no more. He's a little bit old. You see him having white hair when we clearly knew he doesn't age.
Yeah.
He's like pulling the claws out
Yeah.
manually, and there's like pus and everything.
He
I
ain't
was like,
healing
damn.
right.
Huh?
He ain't healing right, too.
Yeah, he ain't healing right. Like, wounds ain't ain't coming out like in seconds like before.
Yeah.
And then we see Professor Xavier just like suffering through Alzheimer's, the dementia. I don't really know.
Alzheimer's and ALS, they said.
God damn. Yeah, so he's like, they're in this like water tank area,
Yeah.
and he's just in bedridden, and you just see Logan just taking care of him as much as he can, because from the exposition that they gave, Professor X killed the majority or all of the X-Men.
Yeah. Because of his Alzheimer's and ALS, like, now he has the world's most dangerous brain. Like, if you remember in X2 when they were like, focus on all these people and then kill them, and now he's just unstable, and you're like, fuck, that is terrifying to have.
It's such a cool concept. Horrible. Cool, though. Like, nobody ever thought of that.
Yeah.
What would happen if somebody with a mind like Professor X experienced real-world diseases like Alzheimer's or ALS?
Yeah.
And you're just like, you have a fucking point.
Yeah. And like Wolverine is just a horrible person. Like, he's always been like an anti-hero, but like when that one mutant who's like, I can only help you if you talk to me, he's like, stay out of my shit. You're like, oh, damn, you're more of an asshole than you were before. I mean, that makes sense. Seeing how the world is and seeing your situation. But like, Gabriella contacts him and is like begging Wolverine, like, please take this child. I'm hiding her from this corporation. And then he's like, fine, only if you pay me this much, because he's looking out to go out and see with Professor X, and I guess wait for him to go, and then he plans to go as well. And you're like, wow, this is a pretty bleak X-Men movie. Never thought I'd be so sad watching a comic book movie. I was proven wrong.
It's bleak, and also they don't say much. They don't say the end goal. They just want to be out in sea. I don't know what that, like, what's their plan next? What country that they're planning to go to?
Yeah.
And also, as I said a while ago, they don't explain a lot. Exposition's there, but it's very vague.
It's very hidden too. It's like you have to look for it or listen well to find it. Like the X-Men thing that happens later on. You're like, they just say the address, and you're like, wait, that's where the X-Mansion is. Oh shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, Logan agrees to help out, and Professor X is like, that's the mutant I was talking about. That's the one we have to help. And Wolverine is just like, I don't have it in me no more. I don't want to do this shit anymore. Don't want to be the hero. But of course, trouble comes around because the agent that was telling Wolverine to keep out, kills Gabriella, and then finds him. And at first they are able to like Laura's able to knock him unconscious, and Wolverine tells the other mutant to like bring him out to the desert and like just dump his body. But reinforcements arrive, and you see why Laura is such a prize for this company, because she is essentially the next Wolverine, but she has the powers. And you see Donald just be like, "Oh wait, Laura, just come to us. No, don't drop the head. Ah, fuck, she killed somebody. Oh, why?"
Dude, like, wait, what was the name of the other guy? Caliban or something like that?
Yeah, there we go. Thank you.
Yeah, Caliban. Sorry, that was the entire time I was just trying to focus on what the fuck his name was. It's a great actor, and I love how he portrayed this character.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like, seeing us getting the scene of like both of them working together and just going ham, and seeing these full-on like cyborg like mercenary groups getting decimated by a little girl with claws, I'm like,
Yeah.
this is great. This is really great.
And then you find out that like Laura has like adamantium in her feet. You're like, fuck. How come Wolverine doesn't have that? Jesus Christ.
No, but I don't like it they explain that like is as if Wolverine is his own species,
Yeah.
where the girls get that kind of gene where knives come out of their feet, while the males have like 3 claws in their hands.
Yeah. And then they try to escape. I do like the fact that they break the cliche of like bursting through the wall when they're like, "Hang on," and then nothing happens. You're like, oh, that's new. That breaks the cliche. That's a fresh take. But they do escape anyway. And that night, Wolverine sees the videos of what the agency has been doing to Laura and like the surviving mutants. You're like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you're like, wow, this is pretty dark for an X-Men movie. I mean, they deal with this in the comics, but like I never thought they would do this on the big screen. Experiments and
where
shit.
like some of them would like would rather unalive themselves than go through the tests, and like you see how fucking horrible stuff that they do.
That's like why the nurses decided to rescue them, and like that's the end goal, to bring all of them to this place called Eden. And you're like, I wonder where this Eden is. If it exists, why didn't Wolverine and Professor X already? How come they're not there already? If it's such a sanctuary.
Well, for them it was all a myth, like, because a lot of times Wolverine's just full on doom and gloom.
Yeah.
Nihilism to its best, like, that shit doesn't exist, it's a myth.
Yeah.
All mutants are dead. And by the way, they also did they explain? Or like they vaguely explained why mutants started losing their powers?
Yeah, like something to do with the food.
Yeah, like something to do with the corn, which is like the biggest export.
Yeah.
And like it's like the most added thing into foods, like, you know, like, what do you call it, like sodas and like regular food stuff.
Yeah, slowly killing the X gene. You're like,
yeah,
that is terrifying beyond comprehension. Fuck. But yeah, you see that Logan sees himself in Laura, and that's why he's like, alright, I'm gonna bring this girl to Eden or whatever. And you clearly see that Laura doesn't know how to interact with people, because there's one guy who's like in the gas station who's like, you need to pay for those.
She just like storms off, starts eating chips while she's running.
Yeah. And then he's like, wait, I need to call your parents. And she just flips him over and just is about to unalive him. You're like, oh fuck. Laura truly is terrifying.
You just see, like, I love how Logan just comes in like an reluctant dad. He's like, oh, come on. You gotta go and like grab the pack of cigars.
Yeah. And then they decide to rest in a hotel for a while because they're all tired from running away. And then the next day, I think the next day is when Logan tries to buy a car, and as he's waiting, he reads the comics that Gabriella has. I do like the fact that for some reason there's X-Men comics in this world to give it some hope.
Yeah, that is very meta. Like, this is so weird.
Yeah.
Like, it's either they're breaking the fourth wall, or I guess they made actual comics for the X-Men that actually exist in their world. So
yeah, there could be that reason. I don't know, just to give this world some hope, some light, and where they are. But Logan sees that Eden is just made up, and he's like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, why?"
It was all in the comic.
Yeah, and then that's when the agency's group finds Professor X, and he has another attack that I don't know what it really does. They say it just doesn't let you breathe for a hot second, and you just die from asphyxiation, which again is terrifying.
No, because I thought it was like it's like deteriorating your brain. Because I remember seeing like some people like bleeding from the nose and shit like that.
Yeah,
Like giving you one hell of a headache.
yeah, and then you see Wolverine crawling, and then you see him like slowly dispatch the soldiers, just like, then
Oh my god, I love that scene because it's not slow mo.
Yeah.
It's nothing like oh yeah, super speed or anything like that. It's straight up the most creative way to do this scene, and it's so fucking cool.
yeah,
Professor X stopping everybody while Wolverine's the only one who could actually, move.
yeah,
I just see him just, and just like and seeing a dude just go, like seeing Wolverine coming in closer to him.
yeah. It's like, well, this is my end. That one shot from the back, like,
Ah yeah, yeah.
and they all run away. And then I do like the fact that there's a small Last of Us reference when those farmers' horses get loose. It breaks down, and Professor X is like, we have to help them. And then Wolverine's like, well, someone will come along the way. And he just goes, someone has come along the way. He's like, fine.
I do love it that like Professor X still has those like that words of wisdom.
Yeah.
But clearly a man filled with regret.
Yeah. And then that night they have one of the most, for this movie at least, one of the most wholesome moments. We're just having dinner, and even Charles is like rubbing Logan, like taking a dig of like, if I called you my best pupil, I might choke on my own words. And Logan's like,
Yeah,
you're not wrong.
I love that. They're straight up bantering. Where you were kind of used to hearing like Charles being the most like eloquent, very polite, very kind.
Yeah,
He's like, "Fuck you, Logan."
yeah, exactly. Like when they're arguing in the bathroom of like whether they should stay or not, he's like, look man, she's like 17, I'm 90, I barely have any food. What the fuck? I'm fucking 90. I need rest. He's like, fine, we'll stay here. And then Logan helps the farmer with some races, and like,
Are they racist? I don't know, but they're trying to buy out their land.
yeah,
Oh, by the way, I really do love this somewhat Western cyberpunky world that they live in.
yeah,
Like it's a tad bit futuristic, with like cars with like solar panels on them and like huge giant machines. They're like replacements for like semi trucks and like things that collect
the corn.
the corn.
Yeah,
You see it out in the distance. But yeah, they're like these people come in. They're like, we want to buy this land, but and Logan comes in and just snaps this guy's shotgun into.
yeah. I love
that.
that. The guy goes, you know the sound of this, boy, and then Logan just grabs it, and then it's like, you know the drill. Start walking. And you're like, oh
Yeah.
fuck, that's amazing.
I don't know why. Like when I was like first time watching this, when the guy goes, "You had training, didn't you?" I was like, "No, he's an X-Men." I was like, "Wait a minute, right? I forgot."
Yeah, it's been some years. I think it's before the farm. This when the radio channel's like, yeah, there's an attack in the casino similar to the one in Westchester, New York, and you're like, and it's like, where some of the victims were the X. And you're like, oh fuck. That's why when Logan comes in and Professor X is like, this has been the nicest night of my life. I don't think I deserve it. I've done something terrible, haven't I?
Oh god.
And then you see Logan, you're like, why aren't you old? Don't understand this. He's like,
You're
Logan, he just pops his claws in his chest. You're like, oh fuck, oh Jesus Christ, why?
And I love that scene where he takes X-23
Yeah,
and he like passes old man Logan, and Logan's just like,
yeah,
and like I keep forgetting that This is not the Logan that we had before.
Yeah,
This is old man Logan. He's a little bit slower, a little bit older, and then he's going up against prime Logan.
yeah. I feel so. My heart breaks when he picks up Charles and he's like, "It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Don't think that it's me that popped the claws in." And then Charles just passes away quietly. You're like, "Man, this is pretty sad." Fuck.
Yeah, and then like I think they have like this whole fight scene
Yeah.
with, but clearly you know who the winner is.
Yeah, first he fights new Logan fights the rednecks who came in. They're like, "We're not done with you," and just decapitates most of them. We're like, "Fuck, Jesus Christ!"
Did he like kill the family as well?
Yeah, he kills the son, the mom, stabs the dad too. You're like, "Fuck." There are one wholesome moment just gone in smoke, and he fights.
Just like The Last of Us.
Yeah. And then you see, oh, I forgot to mention, Richard E. Grant is here as like the main scientist who's like overseeing these horrible experiments.
Yeah, yeah.
And then,
And Caliban has like his last hurrah,
yeah,
like type of dude, like just like unpins the grenades.
yeah. And then Logan and you, Logan, have a fight, and it's so unfair to see. You're like, yeah, this is even. It's not even fair.
Like, oh my god! And you see like Logan going
Yeah.
while he's being impaled,
Yeah,
and being lifted up into the like off the ground. I was like,
yeah.
oh shit!
It only takes the dad to stop them with like 2 shots from a shotgun. You're like, I don't think that's gonna be enough, but sure, why not?
Wait, didn't he like run him over with the truck?
Yeah, he runs him over with a truck, and then that truck pins him to like a side of like metal rigs, and you're like, I don't think that's gonna be enough. And he's like, bam, bam, and you're like, I still don't think that's enough.
But the dude still dies from his wounds.
Yeah, when he's about to kill or try to shoot Logan too, old man Logan, you're like, oh, he blames him too. That makes sense. I would too. And then
Very human, very human.
yeah, and then Logan and Laura bury Professor X, and Logan, you can tell Logan's like, I don't want this quest no more. I don't like this.
Why was that so real? There was no words exchanged
Yeah,
in that one scene where he's just like burying the only person he had left in his own life.
yeah,
And you see Laurel reach for his hand, and Logan just like swipes it away, like a little again the reluctant father. He's just like, "Don't fucking touch me." I was like, "What the fuck? Why is that? Why does that hurt?"
yeah. And then the truck won't work, and Logan just like, fuck, shit, fuck, just starts breaking down the truck and just collapses on the side.
Like legit old man Logan.
Yeah. Then he wakes up, and the doctor's like, I have to look after you. I don't think you'll make it. And Logan's like, you don't want the trouble. It's fine. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
I love that scene though, where like they're in a bed, and the doctor's like scared of him because like his claws were popped out,
Yeah.
and like stabbed him mid surgery.
Yeah, yeah. And then it's the truck when he's like, you didn't have to do this for me. Thank you. And then Lars is like, de nada. He's like, you talk? What the fuck?
The whole fucking time you talk.
Yeah. It starts going up. She's like, shut the fuck up. Ah. Also, like when Laura is saying these names, it's kind of a callback to Days of Future Past when Magneto is saying the name of X-Men who've been killed while Charles was in
shit.
hiding.
Right there.
And
Yeah.
then- And then Logan has to spell it out for us, like, this Eden doesn't exist. I'm not taking you to North Dakota. No, absolutely not. And it's like, fine. Later on, he's like, fine. I'll take you there just to prove that you're wrong. And then they go there, and then you find out, like, oh, Laura's pretty capable. She knows how to drive. Makes sense if you're trying to survive in this world. And you're one of the few mutants left. And then they find the other mutants near, I think it is in North Dakota or somewhere in Arizona. Not too good with U.S. geography.
Arizona's going with that. North Dakota stuff.
Yeah, then it is North Dakota. And they're We're not sponsored, by the way. I'm just kidding.
No, please do. If you are, I love your drinks.
Same here.
Also, the design of your cans.
Same here. But yeah, they find the last remaining, one of the last remaining mutants on Earth, and you're like, oh god, there's so few of them left. Why? How horrible is that?
Was that the one where like they kind of hoist him up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they cut his
Into this watchtower.
they cut his beard to make him look kind of like Wolverine. You're like, oh
Oh man, Logan.
yeah.
By the way, I would never put myself in a situation where, remember, this guy got claws
Yeah.
and nearly killed a dude performing surgery on him. What more if he's asleep and I'm cutting his hair?
Yeah. Laura does find like the adamantium bullet he was saving for himself, and he's like,
Oh my god, I forgot about it.
Yeah. it's like, oh well, I plan to unalive myself at sea, and you're like, fuck, Jesus Christ, never knew I would feel such emotions during an X-Men movie, but here we are. Good in the movie, but like Jesus Christ. This is why Logan for me is like borderline. Like I'll just watch it once in a while.
Yeah. I love the movie. I would gladly watch it again. Just give me like a grace period, you know, like just let me rest.
Yeah. Also, you find out like this world has like some healing serum, but if you take too much, you go crazy. You're like, huh, interesting. And then,
oh yeah, I forgot about that one where it's like somewhat steroids, where it brings you to peak performance for maybe a couple of minutes.
Yeah. And then Laura's upset because Logan accepts the money. He's like, I guess I'm done here. And then she's like, oh, what a wonderful human being you are. He's like, well, look, you little shit. I just came here to escort you. I didn't plan to lose the last remaining people I liked or loved, especially Charles. Charles never asked for this. Neither did Caliban. Bad shit always happens to the people who I care about. Just like, it's a good thing you're not coming then. He's like, fuck. And then they go off to like, I guess Canada, since Canada's like the last remaining sanctuary for them. But they're tracked by the agency, and Logan sees a drone. He's like, I can't let these mutants die off or get captured again, knowing what they'll go through because I went through that. And then as they're being captured, Laura defends. Most of them defend themselves, which I like because it again shows how dangerous mutants can be.
Yeah, but then if you've seen the scene from Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World, it's pretty much that.
Yeah.
I'm getting like netted and like being captured and shit. I'm like,
yeah.
And I love that scene where just Logan just like takes the vials, injects himself as much as he can, and just like starts going.
Yeah. You see Hugh Jackman just do a full Tom Cruise sprint across this forest, just waste people, and they're like, oh fuck, it's the Wolverine, fire! Wow, fuck.
Just like, oh shit. Like, just imagine being one of those guys. Like, I don't ever want to be that guy on the turret.
Yeah.
Remember him? And then the car flips over.
I don't want to be the guy who Wolverine literally lunges across the forest to. You're like, oh fuck.
I don't, like, a lot of the times, yeah, mutants are scary.
Yeah. I love the scene when Logan like takes one guy's gun, kills the guy in the turret, and then he and Laura have this like father-daughter fight.
Like,
that's so sweet to see.
And then, like, but then of course, you know, new Logan comes along.
Yeah,
and he is the last boss fight.
Yeah. But before that, Richard E. Grant has like this monologue. He's like, I didn't mean to kill all mutant kind, I just meant to control it. Oops. And you find out he's one of the members of General Stryker's team for Weapon X. And I did look it up. I was like, oh, he's just a random extra in the movie. Shit.
Oh. Okay.
I do love the fact that he's like monologuing and then Logan just shoots him in the head. And I'm like, I've always wanted to see that when the bad guy is just talking shit and you're like, how come no one shoots him or hits him?
Yeah, like, you know, you could stop this entire thing if you just do it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, Logan does.
But yeah, Donald like unleashes new Logan and you're like, this is not even fair. Why?
And even though Logan like pumps in that like steroid thing, I think it was like running out around that time.
Yeah.
He goes up against new Logan and just like gets absolutely decimated. You really thought like, oh, Logan would have like his second win,
Yeah.
just like, oh, he's able to conquer. No, you gotta be realistic here.
Yeah,
That's prime Wolverine against old Wolverine.
yeah, and then he does get stopped by one of the kids who like dumps one of the military trucks on him, and they
Yeah.
also kill Boyd Holbrook's character. Like, that's cathartic to see this piece of shit just get killed by the mutants he experimented on.
Yeah,
But no, New Logan bursts through the wreckage and just stabs Wolverine as he tells the kids to go, and like impales him on a tree.
on a fucking vlog. I was like, oh my fucking god.
For,
Because again, we're like, he's gonna make it, right?
For a while, I was
It's
like-
oh my god.
I was like, old Logan's gonna like cut off his arm, right? Or like
Yeah.
stab his leg to stop this madness. And the moment, for a while, it's like Logan's gonna survive this long enough to say goodbye, right? And he gets stabbed through with a log, and you're like, I don't think he's gonna make it. Fuck.
Yeah. Like his healing factor isn't that fast. He will
Yeah.
bleed out before he even does anything significant.
Yeah, but before.
And- Yeah, before, they have their last hurrah, Laura comes in with the adamantium bullet and blows a fucking crater into his head.
Yeah, which, in the words of Jeremy Johns, proves Origins is such bullshit with adamantium bullets, because in that movie, you're like, oh, it just wiped his memory clean. How convenient.
It did more than that.
In this one, you're like, oh, so that's what it can do. Fuck.
It's like, oh!
And then what happens next? You're just like, oh, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Where she's just crying over, like, Logan and calls her. Does she call him dad?
Yeah. Yes, like, just like, don't be what they made you. And you're like, fuck, that's great advice. And then his last words are, so this is what it feels like. It just dies. You're like,
Yeah. It's just a long... Dude, I remember watching this, and I was just like... It was a long silence in the theater room. I was
Yeah.
just like, oh my god. It's like, the majority of the people who came into this theater are people who grew up watching Hugh Jackman all the way from the first X-Men movie in the early 2000s
yeah.
all the way to now. And
Yeah.
they're just like, fuck, there's no happy ending. Or like, there is, but it's just not for them.
Yeah. Definitely not for Wolverine. I do like the
Yeah.
fact Laura's last words, well, after they buried Logan, is like the quote from Shane, like, can you escape this mode of being bad? Is it something you can ever really get free from your true form? Can you try to be better? I don't know the answer. And then the scene that almost broke me is when they leave, but it's still the cross, and then she turns it around to the X, and you're like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah, because, like, Logan isn't a man of God kind of deal.
Yeah.
That is just true, like, it's simple. And, like,
Yeah. The only family he has is the one he's been devoted to, and the only a few people he's ever cared about.
and I love the ending because they just go off. You don't know anything whether if they make it or not.
Yeah.
If, like, what do you call it again? The Canadian X-Men?
Alpha Force?
Alpha Flight or something like that?
Yeah.
You don't know if they exist or not.
Yeah.
You don't know what happens to these kids right after. That's it. That's the ending. And it's very vague, but at the same time, like, very fulfilling. I kind of like it like that.
Yeah. And like, there's obviously no after credit scene. There's like, even the credits is just black with white text, and you're like, wow, they took this movie, elevated the comic book movie status for this one movie, just like
No,
other movies before it.
Yeah, dude. Not gonna lie, I was one of the people who like be an after credits scene. Please.
But yeah, I hear a rumor that Daphne Keane might come back for Deadpool 3 as grown up Laura. So who knows?
Not bad. I would like to see that. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, for Logan, what would you rate this?
For Logan, I find no fault. I see. When I watch it from start to end, it was just absolutely perfect. It was up the
Yeah.
entire fucking time. Like Hugh Jackman did an amazing job. The little girl who played X-23 did a great job. Sir Patrick Stewart, amazing. Even the bad guy, I don't like the bad guy.
Yeah.
Like he's not a big main bad guy that you know, like Magneto or anything like that, or Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Just a bounty hunter who comes along, but he has so much charisma, you kind of like it.
Yeah, I was about to mention, I love the fact that it's not, like you mentioned, it's not Magneto, it's not Apocalypse, it's not Mr. Sinister, it's not this over the top X-Men villain, it's just the demons coming back to haunt Logan. Like, it's literally how we started with fucked up science experiments gone wrong. You're like, oh,
Right?
that's poetic in
Right,
the
and-
saddest way.
They made and I like it that I forget his name. He did a great job in Narcos, but like he did such a great job being this bad guy. His name's Donald or something like that.
Yeah. Donald
Yeah.
Pierce, something like that.
Yeah, he did such a great job being this bad guy. Like he was so suave at the same time. You're like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I don't like it when you're on screen. Yeah, but yeah, it does a lot when he's just a mercenary. He's not a mutant. He's just a mercenary who knows how to kill mutants, and
Yeah.
he was way more of a threat compared to any recent Marvel bad guy as of recent.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Yeah, I can't. Now that you mentioned it, I was like, what bad guy do I think about? Well, recent,
Right.
not really, not much.
Right, and sure, the Donald isn't the big one, but I would say he had the, like he has a rightful place in
Yeah,
our hearts as like, yeah, that guy's a cool guy. I like him, even though he's horrible.
yeah,
But anyway, yeah, my rating for this one is to 10 out of 10. Hands down, 10 out of 10.
yeah. Same here. I really can't find any faults. That's why I'll give this also a 10 out of 10. It's a hard movie to watch at times too, and you're like, I God, I can't see Charles like this anymore. Why? But the acting is fantastic, especially from Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart, and the movie that introduced the world to Daphne Keane. You're like, what a fantastic actress! What a fantastic debut! And this is why we've been excited for James Mangold stuff for so long. You're like, I wonder what's he going to do next, and after this, he this. Ford versus Ferrari. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, hey,
Another masterpiece.
banger after banger.
Yeah. No, I hear the Indiana Jones ones wasn't that great, so but that's just like one of like a career of.
Yeah, it's fine, yeah.
Yeah.
The man still has it's a good track record.
Yeah, everything about this movie is truly a masterpiece from this very inconsistent universe. But yeah, 10 out of 10 from both of us. It's a very good movie, and I do have a quick question for you, which is a more emotional death of a comic book character, Logan or Tony Stark?
I would say a more impactful. I have two separate opinions on this one. Most impactful one, I would say, is Tony, because we've had him for God knows how many years. Same with Logan, but like, yeah, he's the type of guy or the type of character we did not expect to die.
Yeah.
You know, but with Logan, it was just a very stretched out man lived a little too long,
Yeah.
and to a point where he kind of realizes his time's up, and it's just like it's just hard to watch. Well, Tony was like, what a heroic death. I
Yeah.
stand by that. Well, this one was like sit down. Like that's all you want to say is just like, man, just take a knee. Just like everything's done. You're okay.
Yeah. Yeah, with Tony, I was just like, I can't believe I love a B-list character. Was a B-list character from the start, but now it's a mega star of a superhero. And like, yeah, it's a Terry Young from Sacrifice, and you're like, yeah, it makes sense that the man who started this universe would save it. With Logan, you're like, it's so tragic to see your life start, and the way it started was like, oh, I guess nothing good happens to Logan. Fuck. Jesus.
Yeah. Like to separate both of these, I would say Logan's was sadder.
Yeah.
By execution, this was a sadder.
Yeah.
But a more impactful death, I would say, is Colin's. Because throughout the whole fucking year of the MCU, he was pretty much just saving grace at the beginning.
Yeah. But yeah, that's been our video on Logan. What do you guys think? What's your favorite X-Men movie? Whether it be this one, Days of Future Past, First Class, or the earlier ones. Comment down below. If you like our videos, please leave them a like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. We're also on Spotify and TikTok. TikTok to see our best and funniest moments and our reaction to trailers, and Spotify to hear us on the go. Individually, I'm Zoda's Voices on TikTok, so if you're interested in seeing me do voices, follow the link down below. Where can they find you?
You can find me at JohnG__ on Instagram. It is my account.
And until the next time, we'll see you then. Bye, everybody.
Yeah.